Well met. How goes it? I'm currently in bed. It's night. I just feel like recording something, to be honest. Um, so yeah, I went into town today. To the spot shopping. Yeah, really interesting. But yeah, I've noticed that the buses and stuff are much more expensive than they used to be. Um, I During the war, um, when I was younger, it was about £1.50. Then it went up to like 1.90, and during the Clovis, the fake virus, whatever, went up to 2.40, and then they were like, the plebs can't afford that. We'll set it to £2. Now, it's gone up to 3.20. So yeah, that's yeah, shit, man. Anywho, fuck it, who cares? I guess I can just walk more often, I guess. But I suppose um, I don't think I've mentioned it before. Actually, I don't um, drive or even have a bike or anything because many years ago, or a few years ago now, I came off my electric bike. I went over the handlebars, but luckily, I was wearing a helmet. Every other day, I never bothered wearing a helmet, but on this day, I just felt compelled to wear a helmet, and there you go. I went over the handlebars, and I was like zooming, an electric bike at full speed, and I was like zooming, but the ground was wet, so it was slippery, and then I was the tire was kind of like slipping, and as I thought, you know what, I should probably slow down. And as I thought that, I went flying over the handlebars as the fucking thing um, got completely wrecked. Like the fucking wheel got crushed. It just went inward. Yeah, and all the circuit board of the front of the accelerator and all that stuff. It just all was exposed and fell in the puddles. It was fucked. Basically, the whole bike was just fucked. I landed on my head, right, and hit the ground so hard, hit the concrete so hard that the whole helmet just disintegrated. It just exploded on impact, literally, like it was. It's just completely separated into pieces and then just fell off my head on the floor. So, but I stood up and I was like, oh shit, I'm all right. I got no injuries or nothing, and I thought, fuck. Um, you know, if I wasn't wearing a helmet, I'd definitely be someone would be scraping me up in a bucket. You know, um, but yeah, ever since then, I just never um, I never got it fixed. I never got a new bike, and I just prefer to keep my feet on the ground. I just prefer to. I've got no real interest in driving. I don't really want to know. I don't really want to think about it, to be honest. I probably should. I probably should drive, but I just don't want to drive. It's as simple as that, and I'm just stuck in my ways, and yeah, I'm just settled in my ways now. So, but yeah. Anyway, I was in B&M, and there's a girl there who works at B&M, and I've seen her there quite a few times, and I like her. She's nice and she's quite friendly and stuff, and I think she's I think she might be into metal and stuff. But she's very talkative, especially when I come to the checkout and that. And she kind of lights up when I pass through, and so I think, I mean, nothing ventured, nothing gained, isn't it? So who knows? Who knows? I could give it a try and see what happens. I've seen her a few times. Well, what I mean is, I could, next time I go, I could just try and get to know her a little bit. Um, you know, ask her what music she likes and stuff like that. I suppose, give it a try, but probably end in failure like every other time. So yeah, B and M girl is the B and M girl is possible. So I might update that next time. So yeah, nothing else really happened. So I went to the bus stop. I had like shitloads of stuff, so I had to get the bus. So I had to go and catch the bus, and there was now this is where things got difficult. So I'm standing there waiting. Well, I'm standing there waiting for a bus. I sit down and I'm just like listening to music. Right, I'm listening to like the fucking Lord of the Rings soundtrack. Um, so this, I'm there with all these old people and stuff. So I live out in the sticks, and only old people live where I live. So um, this fella of African origin, right, with like these dreadlocks that kind of come down his face and come in front of his eyes, sort of thing. That kind of hairstyle, and he's being a real nuisance, and he's going up to these old ladies, right? These old native ladies, right? And he's going up to them, and he's going rah, 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 like barking like a dog for some reason at these old people, right? These old native people, okay? And so um, I like to sort of stay calm, and I think, you know what, let's not get involved, because I'll probably be the one in trouble, okay? In this day and age, if it involves a minority, I'm going to be the one in trouble, okay? They are protected, all right? Let's not beat around the bush, okay? So, but he keeps doing it, and he keeps doing it, and all these people, everybody is just so scared to say or do anything, and everybody's like looking at each other and getting nervous and stuff, and these poor old ladies are getting really scared, and nobody wants to do anything or say anything, right? And so the way I see it, he is a fucking guest in this country, okay? He's not a native, all right? If you're gonna act like a fucking animal, you can go back to Africa. It's as simple as that, okay? So, I was sort of breathing heavy by that point, and I stood up and I was like staring at him, and you know, and I thought, I'm gonna say something. I'm listening to fucking the Bridge of Khazad-dûm from the Lord of the Rings. And then I decided to change the, you know. But anyway, so yeah, I was getting wound up, and you know, but eventually, luckily, he walked off. He went off somewhere else. But in the end, he wandered off. But you know, I mean, what, you know, don't if you're a bunch of African people and you're fucking if you're a mental African person who's barking at old native ladies, right? Native people, do not be surprised when an angry white boy fucking gives you a good hiding. Do not be surprised, okay? So, yeah. I mean, I was preparing for something, so, but I'm glad he left. But he's probably someone who needs a good hiding at some point. Anyway, I should probably let's change the subject because it's not a good idea to linger on that. I don't think. So, yeah, I went home and I went for a walk, and my mum, she said, "Do you want to go for a walk?" And I said, "Yeah, sure. Yeah, if you want to go for a walk." We went for a walk about and that, and it was wet, but it weren't raining, so that's all right. So we had a walk around the village and that, and down some lanes and that, and taking the dog out and that, and that, and that. So then she says, brings up the Elon Musk Nazi salute, and she's going, "Oh my god, I can't believe it! He did a Nazi salute." And then I said, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And then she's like, "Yeah, me and my husband, we are convinced it was a Nazi salute. It's really shocking. What a terrible man." And I said, "Are you thick? Are you dumb?" He put his hand off to the side, right? That's not a Nazi salute. Like I saw that in my news feed, and it's like, oh, the Elon Musk does a Nazi salute, and I take one look, and I'm like, that's not a Nazi salute. His hand is going off to the side. You don't need to analyze it to know that it's not a Nazi salute. You know. So I was like, what are you talking about? I said, you need to learn how to think for yourself. You need to not listen to him, all right? Not listen to your husband. You need to think for yourself, all right? That's ridiculous, you know. His hand went off the side, so yeah, yeah, yeah. But some people are just gullible, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, you could probably look at hundreds of different politicians, hundreds of different, I don't know, famous people or whatever, and when they come out on stage, they probably do some kind of similar gesture, some form of, waving out to someone specific or something, when people do that. But it'd be cool if he did. It'd be funny, but if he did, but he didn't. Okay, he didn't, and you're a retard if you think he did. All right. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, B&M girl is, I don't know, a potential avenue. She seems like it's kind of like a tomboy. Not in the way that, she's trans or something, or just overly, that she's really like masculine or something. No, yeah, she just seems like a normal tomboy, and she seems really friendly and sort of lights up when I show up. And yeah, who knows? Who knows? Let's see what happens with that. Probably nothing. Um, yeah, probably nothing. I I think a few months ago I did try with another girl, where I just wander about to see what there is to do and stuff, and I wandered into a charity shop, and I went around the charity shop and found this girl who was working there, and she had like severe alopecia, but that didn't bother me. Didn't bother me. She seemed friendly. We had a bit of a laugh and stuff, and yeah, I said to her, I asked her if she ever wanted to come out for a drink or something, and she said, no, I don't think I will. No, I don't think I will. And I was like, just like everyone else, just like everyone else. She sort of a lonely kind of person, and I thought, oh well, never mind. Yeah, like from Taxi Driver, just like everyone else. Yeah, I'm thinking of going back to work. Well, I mean, it's not that. So I was let go from my job in 2020. I used to work in a pub, right? It's not that I've been just not trying. I mean, I kind of have. There've been moments when I've just been like, oh, fuck it, I can't be asked. But I've been a NEET for about 5 years now. Yeah, it's about 5 years. Yeah. So I have tried. I've been applying for things and applying for all sorts of different things, but I never hear anything back. Um, you know, I did actually last year. I did do some voluntary work. So I was painting a shed for some kind of special needs, kids thing or whatever. So I painted the shed for them, and yeah, that was all right. But I just got burnt out. I just got just suddenly just got burnt out. I just got fed up, and I just couldn't be bothered to come in anymore. And yeah, they were calling me, but I just never picked up the phone. I probably should have done. I didn't. I Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not burnt out at the moment, so while I'm not burnt out, I'm gonna try for something. But yeah, I've been a NEET for about 5 years. I've have applied for all sorts of different jobs and stuff, and I never hear anything back. And even for jobs that I am actually qualified to do, I still never hear anything. There's like 60 people who applied for that job, and I I don't get a chance. So I'll do some voluntary work and have something to put on the CV. I don't know. I need to get out and about, and I need to get out of the Shire. Um, I need to have more stuff going on, to be honest. Yeah. I went to college. What 2014, 2015, something like that. I went to college. I'm quite familiar with Norfolk, and that's where the college was. So I'm very familiar with Norwich. I quite like Norwich. It's a nice city. It's very old-fashioned, with old-fashioned buildings and stuff. Um, so yeah, yeah, the college and that, and the college was like it was like a what was it for agricultural stuff and animal care and that. I wanted to like work on a farm, work with animals and things like that. That would have been cool. Or even be a dog groomer. That would have been alright. But I yeah, I've always been a quiet loner from the country, from the Shire, and yeah, I it was like these other like loners who were from who like country people who also like they looked like American school shooters. Well, we all did sitting together and that, and I had long hair and that at the time. And that I keep saying that, don't I? I keep saying that. That's yeah. Sometimes I repeat things, certain phrases. Um, yeah, it was it was, yeah. I was like I had all this long red hair that grew all the way down to the middle of my back, and yeah, and I used to dress like I was in a grunge band or something from Nirvana. Um, I hung out with this. There was this big chap. Um, he was. I'm like 6'5", and he was bigger than me. You know, he was bigger than me. He had all this long hair, right? He had long hair like I did, and I remember but he was wide as well. He was not obese, but he was like big, you know, and uh, didn't really stay in touch with him or anything. But I remember he had this knife. He had this like staghorn fucking knife, and it was massive. And he used to unsheath it and then put it back in the sheath, and he used to do that over and over and over and over, because he wanted someone to say, "Oh, that's a really cool knife." You know, he was attention seeking basically, uh, and I was like, I did have a look at it. It was pretty neat. But yeah, it was attention seeking, definitely. Um, but I didn't sort of feel like, I had knives and stuff like that, but I never thought it was a big deal to like show them off or anything. I keep 'em- if I got if I got something on me, I keep it to myself. I'm not going to show it off all the time. because I come years ago. I used to live in this in quite a big house when I was a kid and that, and I lived in quite a big house with a massive garden. Um, you'd be surprised to know it was actually a rental place. We didn't actually own it, but I used to always be in the garden, and I was always playing with an axe, and I put the axe into one of my loops, one of the loop things on the top of your trousers, and I used to have it always on there, and I'd pull it out really quick and throw it at the fence, and there'd be loads of fucking holes in the fence and shit, and yeah, we used to be allowed to do whatever we liked, just destroy shit and do whatever. Um, I used to put holes in the windows of the garage, and I used to use the axe to smash up the sun house door to use the wood for firewood. Yeah, we weren't supervised. We were just allowed to do whatever. Yeah. Yeah, well, when I was at school, I remember I used to do boxing, and and there were pikeys, well, gypsies, that I used to know from the boxing, and then I sort of hung out with them at school, um, and uh, and people used to think I was a pikey as well because I was always hanging out with them, and I looked very much like them as well. I I could have been like their older brother or something because I was so tall. Um, they were, yeah, I liked them, and I thought they were alright with me. And my dad liked them as well. He had no problem with gypsies and stuff, and yeah, I think that, yeah, they're really the only people at school that were friendly enough to come over and say hello to me. And yeah, I was always fairly often I was in fights at school, primary school, middle school, mainly. Quite often I was in fights. Yeah, it was. Yeah, and the pikeys, the gypsies, they used to think it was fucking funny that I was getting involved in that sort of thing. Um, yeah, but teachers were like obviously completely um, out of touch, completely and utterly out of touch. Of course they were. They were fucking teachers, weren't they? Always out of touch. But it frustrated me when I was like, um, because kids are not dumb. They're not stupid. Um, so teachers had no interest in finding the root of the problem. They were just like, well, you reacted, so you're the one in trouble. You're off to, detention. And so, yeah, I was in detention quite often. Um, I remember this. We were. I was with English in the English class, and we all went to the library. And I was sitting on this table on my own. I was like reading this book about films and stuff. I'll never forget that book. And it had the early films, black and white silent films. It was really cool, and I was looking at these pictures, and I thought to myself, one day I want to watch these films for myself. I'm really interested in seeing them. I don't mind if they're silent or whatever. Anyway, this boy comes over, and he comes and sits opposite me, and his little mate is following him everywhere. And all I can hear, you fucking ginger cunt, you're a ginger cunt. Why don't you kill yourself, you ginger cunt, and all this sort of thing. This was probably the greatest moment that I had when I was at school, because I was so I really calmly, you know, I looked up at him and I was like, well, I'm not starting you. I don't know what the problem is. And I thought, you know what? And so I closed the book and I put the book down very slowly, very calmly. And then I swung over the table and punched him in the face. He went on the floor, he was screaming and crying. And the teacher comes over and she's like, you can go to the detention room, you know. There's no need for that. There was no need for it. It was unnecessary, blah, blah, blah. So I go to the detention, and then after that, they were fucking going on about sending me to see a therapist and stuff for what was it, anger issues. And I'm like, I don't need a therapist for anger issues. It's retarded. But anyway, yeah, I remember my mum. I remember going over to my mum's and talking to my mum and her husband about it. Well, she was saying, you know, there's no excuses. You should never hit anybody and all this sort of thing. And her husband has to step in, right? And he says, there is no excuse for it. It's ridiculous. There's no excuse for beating someone up. You know, if they're bullying you, then there's probably a good reason for it. And I thought, you're an absolute wanker, and I'm not going to take a word that you say seriously because you're full of shit. And I thought, if so, he's like saying some people deserve to be bullied, right? And I said, yeah, well, some people deserve to get in the shit beat out of them in retaliation, don't they? I mean, it's fair enough. But luckily my dad was pretty chill. He was pretty cool. He was like, yeah, he was like, well done. You fucking give him a good hiding, you know. Yeah. Yeah, Dad didn't give a shit at all. He didn't give a shit. Yeah. You know, I've lost the plot. I can't remember what this was even about or what the point was. To be honest, I'm just rambling now. I guess I'm just remembering things. Yeah. I wish I had somebody to talk to instead of myself all the time. Yeah. And I've got to decide what this video is going to be called. Well, that's the, even if I use this, I don't know, fucking whatever. But well, I remember at middle school, I was being targeted by the dinner ladies. Yeah, I remember that. I didn't even know the dinner ladies at all. And so you get these tickets, right? In every for everything that you could potentially. So there's a list of stuff that everything you could potentially do wrong. If they tick it once, that's 5 minutes worth of detention at the end of the day, right? And so and they'll give you the ticket the next day for you to staple it in your diary so you can show your parents, right? And so I didn't even know the dinner ladies. I never even spoke to them because they're supposed to come up to you and tell you not to do something. I I didn't know them, but they definitely knew me. But so every single lunchtime, I got a ticket. Like, not just one ticket, but several tickets from different dinner ladies, right? From like 5 different dinner ladies, and so all these tickets would just all just stack up in my diary, right? And every single ticket, it'd be like 5 ticks next to pulling faces because fucking they're retarded. So it'd be pulling faces, and I'd be like, pulling faces at who? Who did I pull faces at? Literally, they never approached me like they were supposed to. And so I was absolutely stacked with these fucking tickets, right? And so when it comes to the end of the day, they come to the class that you're at to pick you up to take the detention room. And I had something like something ridiculous, like 100 minutes, something like that. Eventually, over the weeks, it turned into like 350 minutes. It's mad. But yeah. And so they come to collect me, and I just walk off. I just fucking ignore them. And they're like, come back here, come back here. You're going to the detention. And I'm like, no, I'm going to the bus. I'm going home. I'm not doing this. This is ridiculous. I like pulling faces. Pulling faces at who? That's bullshit. Okay. And so I'll just go to the bus, and that's it. And then yeah, eventually they got this drill sergeant, PE teacher, to get on the bus to get me off, and he'll get in close and he'll be screaming at me in my face and stuff, and to get me off the bus. But yeah, after a while, my diary was stacked with these tickets, and so I come home, and my dad, he comes in and he's like, oh, I gotta do what I gotta do. I can't be asked, but apparently somebody said that I gotta check your diary. And so I'm like, all right, here's my diary. And he goes for it, and he's like, what the fuck is all this shit? And he's like, who the fuck have you been pulling faces at? And I'm like, nobody. And he's like, of course you fucking have. You've been pulling faces at somebody, didn't you? Oh, that's a bullshit fucking crime anyway, isn't it? And obviously you have been messing about, haven't you? I'm like, no. They have been targeting me. The dinner ladies have been targeting me. I don't even know them. But they have been targeting me. And so he didn't believe me. So after a while, after many, many weeks, I kept getting these tickets. They kept stacking up. And so I thought, my diary is just absolutely overflowing with these tickets, which is absolute bullshit. So you know what? I'm just going to undo the staple and just throw the tickets out. As soon as they staple them in, I'm going to just rip them out, chuck them in the bin, and that's it. And I just got rid of every single ticket, chucked them all in the bin. And I think I was caught doing it a few times, and I was like, no. And I just put the diary back in my bag, and I said, no, I don't want these tickets in my diary. I'm putting them in the bin, thank you. So that kept going for quite a few months. And then my cousin, I think it was, she started working as a dinner lady at the school, and apparently she overheard these big fat fucking dinner ladies talking, and she said they were talking about some red-headed lad, and they said, "Oh, he's a horrible little boy. Oh, he really deserves everything he gets." Right? And she comes in and she says, "Oh, what's this? What's this boy's name?" And so they told her his name, my name, right? And they didn't know that she was my cousin. And I never got an explanation for why they were targeting me. I didn't even know them at all, you know. And so my cousin come round ours, and she basically told my dad about what was going on, and my dad goes, "Oh, they've been targeting you the whole time, haven't they?" And I said, "Yes, I told you that, but you didn't listen, did you?" And so yeah, and in a rare moment of being incredibly based, my father come down to the school and he fucking raged at the assistant head, the deputy head. He went in there, he was marching through, went into their offices, and he's like explaining to him the situation, and he's going, "I want them fucking fired. You fire the cunts. You fucking fire them." And they're going, "Talk to us like that, we're gonna call the police." "You fucking call the police. I don't give a shit. You fire them. You fire them." And my cousin was there, and she's like, "Yes, they were saying this. They have been targeting and all this sort of thing." And they only fired one of them. They only fired one of the dinner ladies in the end. But yeah, still to this day, I have no idea what that was about. I don't know why they targeted me. I don't know what that was about. So there you go. It got resolved in the end. I didn't do anything wrong at all. It wasn't my fault at all. But yeah, my dad was pretty based sometimes. I remember the deputy head brought me into her office because I apparently was being sarcastic to the French teacher. I was like, was I? And I genuinely wasn't. She thought I was. She was like, "No, you can come with me. You can come to my office, and we're going to call your father." And so my dad comes in, and he sits down, and he's like, "Oh, what's he done this time?" And then, and she's like, "He was being very sarcastic and being very rude to the French teacher." And my dad said, and he turned to me and he said, "It's lunchtime. Go and get your lunch. Go on, go get your lunch. Right, I'm going home." And that was it. That was brilliant. Yeah. Well, my mum didn't want to know. She didn't want to know at all. She went about making memories with her new husband. That's what she was doing. In Italy and Austria. She didn't give a shit anyway. She didn't want to know. So, I think I rambled enough now. Rambled enough. Yeah, so I'll see what I can do regards to the girl from B&M. Yeah. For now, good night. That's what we need, man. That's what this nation has been built on. Proud men, proud fucking warriors. For 2,000 years, this little tiny fucking island has been raped and pillaged by people who want to come and have a piece of it. 2 fucking world wars. Men have laid down their lives for this. And for what? So we could stick our fucking flag in the ground and say, yeah, this is England. Fucking hell. I know the words. I'm not using this. No, I'm not going to use this. I may as well finish it, I suppose. I'm going to say it, people. I'm going to say it because you're going to have to fucking hear it. We are giving these flats to these fucking niggas.
Filthy Enwa! 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 Filthy fetcher! Filching Enwa! Filthy Enwa! Enwa! Die, Enwa! Fetcher! Filthy Enwa! Enwa! Die, Enwa! Filthy fetcher!